Lots of companies have reported earnings in the past 24 hours, including Facebook and several in the resources sector as well. We've talked a bit about that in the program so far. We're going to talk to an expert now. Our next guest says she's moving out of natural resources stocks, but sees growth ahead for Facebook. And there's Facebook in the pre-market trade. It's up by more than 4.5%. We're going to speak now to Diana Avigdor. She's portfolio manager and head of trading at Barometer Capital Management. Diana, good to see you again. Thanks for making some time for us today. Let's begin with Facebook. You've owned this stock for a while. What do you think of these numbers?
Again, they beat expectations on all metrics, and there was some concern that we're going to lose some market share to other social media platforms, but that didn't happen. They have several platforms upon which they drove revenues. Mobile advertising, which is one that people particularly watch, as most advertising is moving into a new world out there. They beat on that metric as well, was up handsomely. Mobile advertising was 84% or over 80% of their total revenue from advertising. Earnings were up over 90% year over year. So they're delivering on many different platforms, and it feels like it's just the beginning of a longer term trend. However, on the call, expectations have been a little bit tempered for the second half of the year, just because the comps are getting so tough. And the stock was up 7% after the close yesterday. It's up 4.5% still this morning. We think it's still going to continue to work, but the numbers were fantastic.
The stock's trading at a record high. It's likely to break into new record territory today when regular trading opens. Would you add to your holdings at these levels?
So we love new highs, and breakouts to us mean price action that delivers investor returns. We still hold it. Whether I would buy it particularly today, I would let the dust settle a little bit. If you're entering a new position, if you have an existing position, congratulations.
Diana, is Facebook really an isolated sort of bullishness for you, or are there other names within that space that you see opportunity in?
We have, in the space of technology or social, online shopping, investing, that sort of thing, we're also watching Google and Amazon, which is going to be our focus tonight.
And the fact that Facebook doesn't pay a dividend, does that work into your considerations in any way?
There are different products and different reasons people invest, and certainly for the dividend payers, this is not one. So it also has the profile of a little higher volatility than you would expect from a steady Eddie dividend payer. There is always room in a conservative yield portfolio for, say, 10% of stocks that perhaps give return in the form of capital appreciation. But certainly there are portfolios that are pure equity portfolios that is part of a bigger asset allocation for a client or a general mandate that these kind of stocks can go in. It has a higher, much higher volatility profile.
What is your weighting currently in the energy sector? Do I understand correctly that very recently you finished a position, you sold out of a position in Suncor Energy?
Yeah, you know, the headline that it started with saying it's all about Facebook, forget about resource stocks. It is true today. There are certainly some fantastic resource mining, materials exposed stocks. From our perspective at Barometer, our discipline takes us out through stop losses. The energy sector and the materials sectors back in March exhibited relative strength, and to that end, we took our exposure there between energy and materials and so forth to almost 30%, 35% of our portfolios. Currently, the energy sector holds at around 8%. As the stocks have taken us out, our stop loss levels from a discipline perspective, it has exhibited relative weakness. The price action has not contributed. Certainly the oil price has been weaker, so it's been taking us out. Tech B this morning reported what I think is probably a number that is good for it. Agnico Eagle probably reported, and the stock will probably trade okay. We got out of Suncor, you're correct, our discipline takes us out at certain stop losses that are predetermined, that are actually tightened when the sector is sloppy, and the sector was sloppy.
And
So,
where's
yeah.
that money going? Where are those Suncor proceeds going in your portfolio?
It doesn't need to go somewhere immediately, but it generally gets peppered either into new ideas that our analysts come up with, or it can just be added as a, Facebook, for example, when it settles, you can sit on that cash for a couple of days and then see where the market takes you. Certainly, we have other earnings and stocks that are, say, you step into right away, you don't invest the full weight in a stock, let's say. We tend to leg into things, and so we have the room to increase to full positions, those stocks that are not at full weights.
Diana, Suncor being sort of one of the higher quality, better capitalized, dividend-paying names, if you're selling that and you still have about 8% in energy, what are you keeping that you think is more defensive or more attractive than...
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. We just de-weighted the sector on the regular, on the pro rata basis. We are not necessarily out of the names. Suncor, you are quite correct. First of all, it is an integrated. If anything was going to work, it's going to be one of these. It did break at $35. It had a $2 billion capital raise. It has broken that, and the expectations were already weak going into the quarter as a result of the impact of the fires, and they missed that by about 12%. We will be looking to see how the stock might react today. I'm suspecting it's not going to be down so much as you would expect given what the oil price is doing, but it might even be flat, as we've seen lots of selling in the last couple of weeks. So it takes us out in a look at it like a heat map in layers.
Diana, thanks as always. That's Diana Avigdor. She's a portfolio manager and head of trading at Barometer Capital Management. She joins us from the TSX market site.